ESPN had very humble beginnings in a sleepy town of Bristol, Connecticut. And yet from there, they would build an empire that would last until the present day, over 30 years. And despite all of this, they have not lost their perspective on their original mission. ESP. This company seems to have ESP, the way they stay ahead of the changing trends. They're always a step ahead. When they first ordered 24 hours of satellite service before the big boys, they've always been a step ahead of the trend, whatever it was. Keep their ear to the ground. Pioneers. The pioneers are Bill Rasmussen and Stuart Evie and Chet Simmons. Simmons was the insider, Evie was the money guy, and Rasmussen was the hustler. Between these three men, the company was built. It had very high aspirations. Red light readiness. No matter what, when something was meant to air, everything had to be done before it was meant to air. Urgency. Things were built in 2 to 3 weeks. 2 radio stations, one built on top of the other. They're putting in the last piece of wood right before they went on air. The key is that they were ready when the red light went on, no matter what. And bold action. This company has always encouraged the boldest of actions, no matter what. The 24-hour thing, the internet before anybody really had it, they were all about it. They've always awarded bold action. It's always been part of the company. And right along those lines, they want to hire people that love sports. And since they love sports, they love ESPN because those two are synonymous. ESPN and sports are synonymous. If you love sports and you're a fan of sports, then you're a fan of ESPN, and you should want to work with them, and you will help them in their culture. Serving the fan. Serving the fan is the #1 mantra of ESPN, and it is the reason they're the ultimate success that they are, because they've never lost sight of the fact that their #1 customer is the fan, and everything they do is with that in mind. And so whatever they do, the fan is the one who they bounce it off of. The dynamic trio, Rasmussen, Evie, and Simmons. These three, without these three, this company would have never gotten through the time where it didn't make any money. They never made any money for the first 8 years, and yet it kept going. The settlers was Bill Grimes. Bill Grimes, everybody's friend. He was somebody who always in a good mood, always encouraging risky behavior, always, always establishing people in what they were doing, even if they had never done it before. The negotiator was Roger Warner. Roger Warner, when they needed to change it so that cable companies were paying them instead of them paying cable companies for access, he was the one that made it happen. He was the one who took ESPN through the tough times and made, relationships while being a really tough ass. The programmer-in-chief, the guy who took it to ESPN to the worldwide leader, was Roger Warner. He was a tough-nosed, take-no-prisoners kind of guy. You did not say no to Roger Warner, and if you did, Steve Bornstein, and if you did, then he respected you if you said no to him. But if you didn't say, that's what he respected. ESPN is all about itself. And despite the fact they have not had a strong leader, and Bornstein is the strongest leader they've had, he was only the leader for about 5 years. Each individual person believes in ESPN, believes they can make ESPN better. And this has resulted in a continuation of the brand, which is what Digging the Moat is all about, and establishing the brand no matter what, passing up on things, but anything you do is there to establish the brand and build it bigger and entrench yourself within the mainstream system. That's what they have been all about. Creating positive change, which is a very Maxwell value. Each leader of ESPN has been able to create an environment where change is positive, and it has been rewarded exponentially Mark Shapiro, was 6 months he became president, or number 2 in the company. Changed the model. Whenever the model's not been working, ESPN has had no issue turning the model upside down and doing something totally new, totally different. Whatever the smartest person in the room says is the way to go, they most likely will be going that direction before you know it. Hearts and minds. They have been constantly about not only the minds, but the hearts of those fans, the fans. It's the people who live in Tennessee that are the fans of UConn. That's who they're about. They're about serving the underserved. People that don't have access to their teams locally, go to ESPN and watch their team. And that's where they get their connection. This is the ultimate synthesis of an ESPN mindset, where we're the small place in Connecticut that at the same time we're the worldwide leader. So we are, nobody believes in us, but yet we're the number one trailblazer. We will go out there and we'll do something way before anybody else. And that is ESPN, and that is the company that I want to work for someday. Here are some of the resources that I was able to use to find more information, to learn more about ESPN. Thank you.